The rain had not stopped for 3 days. Water poured from the dark sky like nature had opened every tap in heaven at once. The streets of Bazan were rivers now. Cars floated like toys. Houses disappeared under the brown rushing water. Daho. Kim sat in the rescue boat, his radio crackling with desperate voices. People trapped on rooftops. Families stuck in apartment buildings, children crying for help. His team had been working without sleep, pulling person after person from the flood. "Team leader, we have another call," said Jong-soo, the young rescue worker sitting beside him. "Old woman on a roof about 2 blocks north." Dae-ho nodded and turned the boat toward the location. The engine fought against the current. Pieces of broken furniture and debris hit the sides of the boat. A refrigerator floated past them, spinning slowly in the muddy water. They had saved 43 people today. Dae-ho counted each one. Before this job, he had studied ocean life. Fish and whales and coral reefs. Now he studied how to save human lives instead. The skills were different, but the goal was the same. Protect what matters. There, Jong-soo pointed ahead. The blue house with the red roof. Dae-ho saw it. A small house, mostly underwater now. Only the roof showed above the flood. An old woman sat there, waving a white cloth. She looked tired and scared. "We will get her," Dae-ho said into his radio. "Prepare the rope." But as they got closer, he saw something else. On a different rooftop, about 50 meters away, there was another shape. Not human. It was big, about the size of a large dog, but it moved wrong. The way it held its body was strange. "Jong-soo, do you see that?" Dae-ho pointed. Jong-soo looked through his binoculars. "Looks like an animal, maybe a big cat. Probably escaped from somewhere when the water came." The creature was lying flat on the roof. Even from far away, Dae-ho could see it was hurt. One of its legs hung at a bad angle. But something else caught his attention. The animal was not moving to save itself. It was covering something with its body. "We get the woman first," Jong-soo said. "Then we can think about the animal." Dae-ho agreed. They pulled the boat up to the blue house. The old woman was weak but alive. They helped her into the boat and gave her water and a warm blanket. She cried and thanked them many times. "Are there others?" Dae-ho asked her. "No, just me." "My cat ran away when the water started rising. I could not find him." As they prepared to leave, Dae-ho looked back at the other rooftop. The animal was still there, still in the same position, still protecting whatever was under it. The water was rising higher. Soon that roof would be underwater too. "Jong-soo, we need to check that animal." "Team leader, we have 6 more rescue calls waiting." People are more important than animals. Dae-ho knew Jong-soo was right. But something felt wrong about leaving. In his years studying marine life, he had learned to trust his instincts about living creatures. This animal was not acting normal. 5 minutes, Dae-ho said. Just 5 minutes to look. They moved the boat toward the other roof. As they got closer, Dae-ho realized this was not any animal he had ever seen. The creature was covered in spots, but the spots were not normal black or brown. They were silver and blue, and they seemed to shine even in the gray light of the storm. The animal had 6 legs, not 4. Its head was shaped like a cat, but larger and with bigger eyes. Those eyes watched the boat approach. They were intelligent. Eyes, not the blank stare of a scared animal, but the focused look of something that was thinking, "What is that thing?" Jong-soo whispered. Dae-ho did not answer. He was staring at the creature's spots. They were not just shining. They were moving. Patterns of light flowed across the animal's body like waves on water. It was the most beautiful and strange thing he had ever seen. The creature made a sound, not a roar or a growl. More like singing, but very low and soft. The sound was sad and desperate. It was asking for help. "It is hurt badly," Dae-ho said. "And it is protecting something." The water was almost touching the edge of the roof now. In a few more minutes, the animal and whatever it was guarding would be swept away. "Team leader, we should call the animal control people." "There is no time. It will drown." Dae-ho looked at his team. Gongsu, and two other rescue workers, Minho and Sangwook. Good men who had risked their lives all day to save people. Now he was asking them to risk their lives for a strange animal. "I'm going up there," Daeho said. "Sir, we do not know if it is dangerous. Look at it. Does it look dangerous to you?" The creature was breathing hard. Its silver and blue spots were flashing. Faster now, but the patterns looked more like panic than anger. One of its 6 legs was clearly broken. Blood mixed with the rainwater on the roof. "If it attacks me, pull me back to the boat," Daeho said. He climbed carefully onto the roof. The surface was slippery, and the water was pushing against the building. Each step had to be perfect or he would fall into the flood. The creature watched him approach. Its big eyes never left his face. The light patterns on its body changed as he got closer. Slower now, more gentle. Like it was trying to tell him something. "Easy," Daeho said softly. "I am here to help." He knelt down beside the animal. Up close, he could see it was even more hurt than he thought. Cuts on its face and sides, the broken leg was bleeding. But still it did not move away from whatever it was protecting. Daeho reached out slowly. The creature did not bite or scratch. Instead, it made that soft singing sound again. Then, very carefully, it moved its body just enough to show Daeho what was underneath, a baby. A smaller version of the same strange animal, no bigger than a house cat. Its spots were dimmer than its parents', but they pulsed with the same gentle light. The baby was alive but very weak. "You are protecting your child," Daeho whispered. The adult animal looked at him with those intelligent eyes. Then it did something amazing. The patterns of light on its body changed into what looked almost like words. Daeho could not read them, but he felt their meaning. "Please, help. Save." The water touched the edge of the roof. "Jong-soo," Daeho called. "Bring the medical kit and the big blanket. We are taking them both." The veterinary clinic had never seen anything like this before. Dr. Kyungmin worked on animals every day, but the creature lying on his metal table was not from any book he had studied. 6 legs instead of 4. Skin that glowed with moving. Patterns of light, blood that was purple instead of red. "I do not know how to help it," Dr. Kyungmin told Daeho. "Its body is completely different from any earth animal." Daeho stood beside the table watching the alien creature breathe. Each breath was slow and painful. The smaller one, the baby, was in a heated box nearby. It was alive but barely moving. "Just do what you can," Daeho said. "Clean the wounds. Set the broken leg. Treat it like you would treat any injured animal." 3 hours had passed since the rescue. Word was spreading fast. Government people were coming. Military vehicles were already outside the clinic. Soon this quiet place would be full of officials and scientists and reporters. The adult creature opened its large eyes and looked at Daeho. The light patterns on its body began to move faster. Waves of blue and silver flowed across its skin like water. "It recognizes you," Dr. Kyungmin said. "Look how calm it gets when you are near." It was true. When Daeho stepped closer, the flashing lights slowed down. When he moved away, they sped up again. "Maybe it knows you saved its life." A black car pulled up outside. Then another. Through the window, Daeho could see people in suits getting out. Some carried briefcases. Others had equipment he did not recognize. "The government is here," he said. Dr. Kyungmin looked nervous. "What will they do with it?" Before Daeho could answer, the clinic door opened. A woman in a white lab coat entered, followed by several men in dark suits. The woman was young, maybe 30 years old, with sharp eyes behind wire glasses. "I am Dr. So-min Park," she said. "Xenobiology specialist from Seoul National University. I study the possibility of life from other worlds." One of the men stepped forward. "I am Taejin Lee, government security advisor. This animal is now under official protection." Daeho felt angry. This animal has a name. It is a living creature. That was hurt and scared. I saved its life. "And you did the right thing," So-min said quickly. "But now we need to understand what we are dealing with. This might be the most important discovery in human history." She approached the table slowly. The creature watched her but did not seem afraid. Somin pulled out a small device that looked like a tablet computer. The light patterns on its skin, she said. They are not random. Look at this. She held up the device. On the screen, Daeho could see the creature's light patterns drawn as lines and shapes. They looked almost like writing. You think it is trying to communicate? Daeho asked. I think it has been communicating this whole time. We just did not know how to listen. Another person entered the clinic, a young woman with short hair and tired eyes. She carried several pieces of electronic equipment. This is Yuna Choi, So-min said. She works with computers and communication systems. If this creature is trying to talk to us, Yuna can help us understand. Yuna set up her equipment quickly. Cameras pointed at the creature. Computers began recording every flash of light. Within minutes, the screens were full of data. The patterns change when different people come near, Yuna said, and they change when the creature looks at its baby. There's definitely a system here, Tae-jin Lee spoke into his phone. Yes, sir, confirmed alien life. 2 specimens. Both alive. We need a secure facility immediately. Wait, Daeho said. You cannot just take them away. They are hurt. They need medical care. They will get the best care possible, Tae-jin said. But this is now a matter of national security. So-min looked up from her tablet. Actually, I think they should stay here for now. Moving them could cause more stress. And we are just beginning to understand their communication. She turned to Yuna. Can you set up a basic response system? Something that lets us send light patterns back to it? Give me 20 minutes. While Yuna works, So-min examined the creatures more carefully. She took photographs and measurements. She collected small samples of the purple blood for testing. All the while, she talked to the adult creature in a soft voice. I know you cannot understand my words, she said. But maybe you can understand my intention. We want to help you and your baby. The creature's light patterns changed. Slower now, different colors, more green and less blue. Did you see that? So-min asked Daeho. The colors changed when I said, Baby. Yuna looked up from her computers. Ready? I can display simple light patterns on this screen. Basic shapes and colors. She showed the creature a simple pattern on her screen. Red circle, blue square, green triangle. The creature watched carefully but did not respond. Then Yuna tried something different. She made the screen flash in the same pattern the creature had been showing. Blue waves moving from left to right. The reaction was immediate. The creature's whole body lit up with excitement. It tried to lift its head despite the pain. The light patterns flowed faster across its skin. It knows we are copying its language. So-min said, Try showing it something new. Yuna created a simple pattern, yellow dots in a straight line. The creature watched. Then slowly it displayed the same pattern on its own body. It is learning our system too, Yuna whispered. This is incredible. For the next hour they exchanged simple patterns. The creature was clearly intelligent. It learned in new shapes quickly. It even began to create patterns that Yuna had never shown it. Dr. Kyung-min finished treating the broken leg and cleaning the wounds. It should heal fine, he said. But I still have no idea what kind of medical care it really needs. So-min was studying the data on her tablet when she suddenly stopped. Yuna, look at this sequence the creature just showed us. On the screen was a complex pattern. Flowing lines that curved and connected in beautiful shapes. But there was something familiar about it. Run it through the translation program, So-min said. Yuna typed commands into her computer. Numbers and symbols filled the screen. Then, slowly, words appeared. Child safe. Child lives. Thank you, Starwalker. The clinic went silent. Everyone stared at the screen. It just thanked us, Daeho said quietly. It called me Starwalker. The creature was looking directly at him. Its eyes seemed almost human in their expression of gratitude. Then it showed another pattern. This one was simpler, but somehow felt more urgent. Zena ran the translation. The words appeared on screen. Home far. Family search? Help? So-min looked at Tae-jin Lee. It is asking for help to find its family. There might be others. Before. Anyone could respond. Yuna's radio equipment began picking up signals. Strange sounds filled the air. Not human voices, but something else. Something from very far away. What is that? Taejin asked. Una adjusted the controls. The signals became clearer. They sounded like the same soft singing noise the creature had made on the rooftop, but these were coming from space. Someone is looking for them, she said, and I think they found us. The signals from space were getting stronger. Yuna adjusted her equipment again, trying to make the sounds clearer. The alien creature on the table was responding to the signals. Its light patterns flashed in rhythm with the sounds from above. They are talking to each other, So-min said. The creature is communicating with whoever is up there. Taejin Lee was on his phone again, speaking in urgent whispers. More government cars were arriving outside the clinic. Through the window, Daeho could see soldiers setting up equipment. How many ships are there? Taejin asked someone on the phone. He listened, then his face went pale. 12 ships. All large, all waiting just outside our atmosphere? So-min looked at the alien creature. Can you ask it what they want? Yuna typed on her computer, creating a new light pattern. Simple shapes that meant what and want and ships above. She displayed the pattern on her screen. The creature's response was immediate and complex. Waves of light flowed across its body in patterns they had never seen before. Yuna's computer worked to translate the message. The words appeared slowly. Family comes, child lost, child found, joy and fear. Starwalkers unknown, good or bad question. They are afraid of us, Daeho said. They do not know if humans are dangerous. The baby creature in the heated box suddenly became active. Its small body glowed brighter and it made soft singing sounds. The adult creature responded with gentle patterns of green and gold light. The baby is getting stronger, Dr. Kyung-min said. Both of them are healing fast. Much faster than any Earth animal would. Yuna created another message. We help. We want peace. We want friendship. The creature studied the pattern carefully. Then it showed them something new. A complex sequence of lights that seemed to tell a story. Pictures formed in the patterns. A ship flying through space, a storm. The ship falling toward a blue and green planet. It is showing us what happened, So-min said. Their ship crashed during the flood. More patterns followed. The crash site, water everywhere. The adult creature carrying its baby to safety, hiding on the rooftop, waiting for rescue. That never came until Daeho found them. There might be more survivors, Taejin said. We need to search the crash site. The creature seemed to understand. It showed them new patterns. A location, coordinates, a place where something important was hidden. Yuna's computer translated, ship broken, others sleep, deep water, need. Help now? There are others at the crash site, So-min said. And they are in trouble. Daeho stepped forward. We have to go back out there. If there are more survivors, they might be drowning. The water is still too dangerous, Taejin said. We lost 2 rescue boats yesterday, then we used bigger boats. Military boats. The signals from space suddenly changed. They became louder and more urgent. The creature on the table responded. With flashing red lights across its entire body. Yuna worked frantically to translate. Warning, warning, time short, others die soon. Help now or lose forever. The ships above are telling us we are running out of time. So-min said. Dr. Kyung-min checked the creature's injuries. It is strong enough to travel. Not fully healed, but stable. You want to bring it with us? Taejin asked. It knows where the crash site is, Daeho said. It can guide us. So-min agreed. And if we find other survivors, seeing this creature alive and safe might help them trust us. Taejin made more phone calls. Within an hour, a military rescue team was ready, 2 large boats with powerful engines, medical equipment, underwater search gear, and a special transport container for the alien creature. The creature seemed to understand what was happening. Its light patterns became excited and hopeful. When they carefully moved it to the transport container, it did not resist. Instead, it showed them patterns that clearly meant, thank you, and hurry. The baby came too in a smaller heated container. The adult creature would not let them leave its child behind. The rescue team moved quickly through the flooded streets. The water was still high, but the military boats could handle the current. The creature's light patterns guided them through the maze of submerged buildings and floating debris. "Turn left here," Yuna said, reading the creature's signals. "It," says the crash site, is about 2 kilometers ahead. They reached an area where the water was deeper than anywhere else. What had once been a small lake was now a huge sea. Broken trees and the tops of buildings stuck up like islands. The creature's patterns became very bright and urgent. It was pointing toward a spot where the water looked different, darker, like something large was hidden beneath the surface. "There," Deho said. "That is where the ship went down." The military divers prepared their equipment. Underwater cameras, breathing gear, cutting tools in case they needed to break into the ship. "How deep is it?" asked Captain Jung-ho, the military team leader. The divers checked their instruments. "About 15 meters, we can reach it." As the first diver went into the water, the creature's light patterns changed again, more complex than before. Yuna's computer struggled to translate the long message. "Ship damaged but sealed. Air inside. 3 others alive but weak. Need air soon. Warning about ship defense systems. Warning about touching wrong places." "It is giving us instructions," So-min said, "telling us how to safely enter the ship." The diver's voice came through the radio. "I can see it. Definitely not human technology. The shape is all wrong, like a silver egg with wings. There are lights on it that are still working." Following the creature's instructions, the divers found the correct entrance. The ship's door opened for them, as if it recognized the light patterns the creature was broadcasting. "We are inside," the diver reported. "There is air here, and I can see them. 3 more of the creatures. They are alive but unconscious." "Can you bring them up?" Captain Jung-ho asked. "They are in some kind of sleep chambers. The creature up there needs to tell us how to wake them safely." The creature on the boat was already showing new patterns, step-by-step instructions. How to open the chambers. How to move the sleeping aliens without hurting them. It took 3 hours, but finally all 3 survivors were brought to the surface. They were unconscious but breathing. Their light patterns were very dim, like batteries. Running low, when the first of the rescued aliens was brought onto the boat, something amazing happened. The creature that had guided them began to sing, not the soft sounds they had heard before, but loud, joyful music that filled the air. The baby creature joined in with its own tiny voice. Even the unconscious survivors began to glow brighter, responding to the sounds of their family. "They are reunited," So-min said softly, but their celebration was interrupted by Yuna's radio equipment. The signals from space were changing again. This time they were much stronger. "The ships up there are moving," Tajin said, checking his military communications. "They are coming down toward Earth." The creature looked up at the sky, then at Deho. Its light patterns were clear. "Family comes. Time for truth? Starwalkers ready or not ready? Questions soon." As if responding to those words, the clouds above them began to part. Through the gap they could see shapes moving in the sky. Large silver objects, graceful as birds but clearly not natural. The first contact they had experienced in the clinic was about to become something much bigger. The real test was just beginning. The alien ships came down slowly. 12 silver vessels, each one the size of a city building, descended through the clouds like falling stars. They moved without sound, without fire, without anything humans understood about flying machines. Captain Jung-ho radioed his headquarters. "The ships are landing. No weapons visible. They are setting down in the ocean about 5 kilometers from our position." On the rescue boat, the alien creatures were fully awake now. All 4 adults and 1 baby, their bodies glowing with excited patterns of light. They sang together in harmonies that made the humans feel peaceful and afraid at the same time. "They are happy to see their people," So-min said. "But look at how they keep watching us." It was true. Even while celebrating with their family, the creatures kept their large eyes on Deho and his team. Their light patterns included messages clearly meant for the humans. Yuna translated, Thanksgiving, debts owed. Starwalkers showed kindness. Family remembers. A new sound came from the radio. Not the singing of the creatures, but something else. A voice speaking in perfect Korean. Greetings, people of Earth. This is Elder Mordan of the Feliner Alliance. We request permission to meet with those who saved our lost family. Taejin Lee nearly dropped his radio. They speak our language. We have been studying your world for many years, the voice continued. We know your words, your customs, your history. We come in peace to discuss what has happened here. Captain Young-ho looked at his team. None of them were prepared for this. How do you meet with aliens? What do you say? What do you do? The alien creature that Daeho had rescued began showing new light patterns. Yuna translated, Elder comes. Great honor. Tell truth about Starwalker rescue. Tell truth about kindness shown. Within an hour, a smaller ship approached their boat. It was beautiful, shaped like a giant flower with petals that moved like it was alive. The ship settled gently on the water beside them. A section of the ship opened and 3 figures emerged. They looked similar to the creatures they had rescued, but larger and with more complex light patterns flowing across their bodies. They wore no clothing, but their skin seemed to shimmer with built-in protection. The leader stepped forward. Unlike the others, this one had silver markings around its eyes and a more upright posture. I am Elder Mordan, it said, speaking Korean. Perfectly. These are my advisors, Kasera and Velnoth. We have come to thank you and to talk about what happens next. Daeho found himself face to face with a being from another world. Everything about this moment felt impossible, but the creature's eyes were kind and intelligent. I am Daeho Kim. I just did what anyone would do. I saw someone in trouble and tried to help. Mordan's light patterns shifted to gentle blue and gold. That is exactly why we are here. You say anyone would do this, but our observations of your species suggest otherwise. So-min stepped forward. Observations? How long have you been watching us? For 300 of your years, Mordan replied. The Galactic Alliance has been studying Earth, trying to decide if your people are ready to join the greater community. Of worlds, Taejin Lee looked shocked. There is a galactic community? 47 different species spread across thousands of worlds. We trade, we share knowledge, we help each other solve problems. But we only invite species that have proven they can live in peace. The rescued creature that Daeho had saved moved closer to the Elder. Their light patterns flowed together in what was clearly a conversation. Veltar is telling me about the rescue, Mordan said. How you risked your life to save what you thought was just an animal. How your people treated the injured with kindness. How you worked together to save the others. But you are also telling him about wars, Kasera added, speaking for the first time. About pollution, about violence, about the destruction of your own world. The mood on the boat became tense. The humans looked at each other uncomfortably. We are not perfect, Daeho said. But we are trying to be better. Some of you are, Velnoth said. But some of your people would have killed Veltar out of fear. Some would have tried to capture and study the family for profit. Some would have used this meeting to plan attacks on our ships. So-min realized where this conversation was going. You are deciding whether to make contact with all of humanity, are you not? The Alliance has been debating this question for decades, Mordan said. Your species shows great potential. You are creative, brave, and capable of remarkable kindness. But you are also violent, destructive, and often cruel to each other. What will you decide? Asked Taejin. That depends partly on what we observe here. Veltar's rescue was not planned. It was a genuine test of human character. The way you have handled this situation will influence our final decision. The baby creature, tiny but growing stronger, swam to the edge of the boat and looked up at Daeho. Its light patterns were simple but clear. Friend, protector, good starwalker. Mordan watched this interaction carefully. The young one has never seen a human before, yet it trusts you completely. It tells us much about the energy you project. What happens if you decide we are not ready? Captain Young-ho asked. We leave. We continue to watch from a distance. We wait perhaps another 100 years and observe again. And if you decide we are ready, we offer you a chance to prove it. A trial period where your world can begin to learn about the galaxy, but there would be conditions. Kes Era explained. No weapons in space, no wars between nations, environmental protection for your planet. And most importantly, you must choose this path freely. We will not force contact on a species that does not want it. The rescued creatures were all listening to this conversation. Their light patterns showed they understood what was being discussed. The adult that Deho had saved showed a new pattern to Yuna's computer. The translation appeared. Starwalker save family without asking for reward. Starwalker species might be ready for star family. Mordan's patterns shifted to what looked like approval. Veltar speaks wisdom. Your actions during the crisis showed the best of your species. But we need to see if that goodness can spread beyond small acts of individual kindness. How long do we have to prove ourselves? Somin asked. The Alliance will observe for 1 of your years. If humanity can show sustained progress toward peace and cooperation, we will extend a formal invitation to join the galactic community. The implications hit everyone at once. Humanity was being offered the chance to join an alliance of alien civilizations, but only if they could prove they deserved it. What can we do to help? Deho asked. Mordan looked at him with those large, intelligent eyes. Continue being who you were on that rooftop. Show your people that kindness and courage matter more than fear and anger. Be the example of what humanity can become. The alien ships in the distance began to glow brighter, preparing for departure. We will leave representatives here to observe and assist, Mordan said. And we invite some of your people to visit our worlds, to see what cooperation between species can achieve. As the elder prepared to return to his ship, he spoke directly to Deho. The rescue you performed has given your species a chance. What happens next is up to all of you. 6 months had passed since first contact. The world had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Some changes were wonderful. Some were frightening. Deho stood in what used to be a small veterinary clinic, but was now the Earth-Feliner Cultural Exchange Center. The building had been expanded with both human and alien technology. Rooms that glowed with gentle light, walls that could display any image or pattern, healing chambers that helped both species recover from injury. Vel-Tar, the creature he had rescued, was now his partner and guide. The alien had chosen to stay on Earth as an ambassador while other Feliner returned to their ships. Together, they worked to help humans understand what joining the galactic community would mean. The news from Europe is not good, Somin said, entering the main communication room. She carried a tablet showing reports from around the world. 3 more countries have formed the Human Independence Alliance. They want all aliens to leave Earth. The Human Independence Alliance had grown rapidly. Led by politicians and military leaders who feared losing human control over Earth, they argued that contact with aliens was a trick to conquer humanity. How many ships have they built? Asked Yuna, who now served as head translator for all human-alien communications. 12 combat vessels, Somin replied. They say they are for defense, but the Feliner ships have detected weapons pointed at space. Veltar's light patterns showed sadness and concern. Through the translation system, its message appeared on screen. Fear grows faster than understanding. Some Starwalkers choose darkness over light. But there was good news too. The Global Cooperation Treaty had been signed by 68 countries. They had agreed to work together on environmental restoration, peaceful conflict resolution, and preparation for possible galactic membership. The reforestation projects are ahead of schedule, Yuna reported, and the clean energy programs are working better than anyone expected. Taejin Lee, now director of the Global Contact Initiative, reviewed the progress reports. Crime rates are down 18% worldwide. Wars have stopped in 7 conflict zones. The alien presence seems to be inspiring people to be better. Not all people, Somin reminded them. That was the problem. Humanity was splitting into 2 groups. Those who saw the Feliner as teachers and potential friends, and those who saw them as invaders who must be fought. Elder Mordan wants to meet with us, Veltar communicated. Important decisions coming. Time growing short. They traveled to the main Feliner ship, which floated peacefully in international waters. The vessel had become a symbol of hope for some humans and a target of fear for others. Elder Mordan greeted them in the ship's council chamber. The room was beautiful, with walls that showed images of different worlds and species from across the galaxy. The Alliance Council has been watching Earth carefully, Mordan began. We see great progress in many areas. But we also see growing opposition to our presence. The Independence Alliance represents maybe 20% of humanity, Taejin said. Most people support the contact program. But that 20% includes people with nuclear weapons and space technology, Casera pointed out. They pose a threat not just to Earth, but potentially to other worlds. Mordan showed them images on the wall screens. Pictures of the human ships being built in secret. Weapons designed to fight alien vessels. Plans for attacks on Feliner ships. We cannot invite a species into the galactic community if part of that species wants to make war on other members, Volnoth explained. What are our options? Somin asked. 3 choices, Mordan said. First, we could leave now and return in 100 years, hoping humanity matures in that time. The humans looked at each other with dismay. 100 years meant everyone in? This room would be dead before contact was tried again. Second, we could make contact only with the nations that want to join us, leaving the others isolated. That would create a divided world, Daeho said. It would probably lead to war between the contact nations and the isolation nations. Which brings us to the third option, Mordan continued. We extend the trial period, but we also extend the test. What kind of test? Taejin asked. Casera stepped forward. We invite a group of humans to visit other worlds, to see what galactic civilization looks like, to understand what you would be joining. At the same time, Valnoth added, more Feliner will come to Earth, not as observers, but as participants. They will work with humans on projects that benefit everyone. The test will be whether humanity can handle deeper contact without falling into conflict, Mordan explained. If the presence of more aliens causes your species to unite in fear and anger, we will know you are not ready. But if it helps the moderate voices grow stronger, if it shows the benefits of cooperation, then perhaps the opposition will shrink. Veltar had been quiet during this discussion, but now its patterns showed urgent communication. Starwalker Daeho should go to other worlds, show other species that humans can learn and grow, bring back knowledge to help Earth. The idea was both exciting and terrifying. To travel to alien worlds, to see civilizations thousands of years more advanced than Earth, to represent humanity. Among the stars, I am not a diplomat, Daeho said. I am just a rescue worker. That is exactly why you should go, Mordan replied. You represent the best qualities we have observed in humans. Courage without aggression, kindness without weakness, curiosity without exploitation. Somin, Yuna, and Taejin would go with him. A small team representing Earth on a journey to 3 different worlds over 6 months. While you are gone, Casera said, 50 Feliner will come to work with human scientists, doctors, and teachers. We will share technology that can help with environmental restoration and medical advancement. What about the Independence Alliance? Yuna asked. They will see this as an invasion, perhaps, Mordan agreed. Or perhaps they will see the benefits and change their minds. That is the test. 2 weeks later, Daeho found himself aboard a Feliner ship heading for the stars. Through the ship's transparent walls, he could see Earth growing smaller behind them. The blue and white planet looked so beautiful and so fragile from space. Nervous? Somin asked. Terrified, Daeho admitted. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I embarrass our entire species? Veltar, who had chosen to accompany them as a guide, showed reassuring patterns. Starwalker saved family without training. Starwalker will represent family without fear. Truth and kindness need no preparation. Their first destination was Kepler 442b, a world where three different species had learned to live together in harmony. The second would be a space station where dozens of species worked together on scientific research. The third was the Alliance Council homeworld, where representatives from all 47 member species would meet them as the ship jumped to. Faster than light speed, Deho thought about Veltar's words. He had saved the alien family because it was the right thing to do. Not because he had been trained for first contact. Now he was being asked to help save the relationship between two species. Not through diplomacy or negotiation, but by showing who humans could be at their best. The test was no longer just about whether humanity deserved to join the galactic community. It was about whether they could grow enough to become worthy of it. Back on Earth, the first group of Felliner cultural ambassadors was arriving. Some humans welcomed them with excitement and hope. Others prepared for what they believed would be the beginning of an invasion. The next 6 months would determine the future of both species. Deho had seen wonders beyond imagination. Cities that floated among the clouds. Forests where the trees could think and communicate. Space stations the size of moons where hundreds of species worked together in perfect harmony. But now, as his ship approached Earth after 6 months among the stars, all he could think about was home. "Look at the orbital traffic," Somin said, pointing out the ship's window. "There are twice as many human ships up here as when we left. Some of the ships were clearly peaceful. Research vessels and communication satellites built with Felliner technology, but others were different. Military ships with weapons pointed toward the alien vessels that still waited patiently in Earth's orbit. "The Independence Alliance has been busy," Taejin observed grimly. Yuna checked her communication equipment. "I am getting reports from the surface. The situation is more complicated than we expected." During their absence, the 50 Felliner ambassadors had worked miracles. Diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries were being cured. Clean energy technology had advanced by decades in just 6 months. Ocean pollution was being cleaned at a rate no one had thought possible, but success had brought new problems. Unemployment is rising in some regions, Yuna read from her reports. People are afraid that alien technology will replace human workers. Some governments are demanding that the Felliner share all their knowledge immediately. And others are demanding that the aliens leave before they take over completely. Taejin added. The ship landed at the expanded Cultural Exchange Center. The building was now a small city with human and Felliner sections connected by beautiful gardens and meeting spaces. But even from orbit, they had seen the protesters surrounding the facility. Veltar greeted them as they disembarked. Its light patterns showed both joy at their return and concern about the situation on Earth. "Much has changed," the alien communicated. "Good changes and difficult changes. Humans must choose path soon." Elder Mordan was waiting in the main council chamber. With him were representatives from several other species, tall, graceful beings. From the water world they had visited, and small, quick-thinking creatures from the research station. "Welcome home," Mordan said. "I trust your journey was educational, beyond anything we could have imagined," Deho replied. "But I can see we have problems here. The same problems every species faces when offered membership in the Alliance," said one of the water world representatives. "The fear of change, the desire to remain isolated, the worry about losing independence. How did your people overcome these fears?" Somin asked. "With patience, time, and proof that cooperation brings greater benefits than isolation," the representative replied. "But every species must make this choice freely. It cannot be forced." Mordan activated a large display screen. It showed a map of Earth with different regions marked in various colors. "Green areas represent nations fully committed to galactic membership," he explained. "Yellow areas are undecided. Red areas actively oppose continued contact." About 60% of the world was green, 30% was yellow, 10% was red. "The red areas include some of your most powerful military nations," Kesera pointed out. "They have issued an ultimatum. All alien vessels must leave Earth orbit within 30 days or they will be considered hostile invaders. Can they actually threaten your ships? Tae-jin asked. Their weapons could damage us, Valnoff admitted. More importantly, an attack would prove that humanity is not ready for peaceful contact. The Alliance would have no choice but to classify Earth as a hostile world. What would that mean? Yuna asked. Complete isolation. No trade, no communication, no assistance with your environmental problems. Earth would be left alone until your species either destroys itself or evolves beyond its current limitations. The weight of responsibility settled on Daeho's shoulders. Somehow, the actions of a few powerful humans could doom the entire species to isolation. There must be something we can do, he said. There is, Mordan replied. The Alliance Council has authorized one final test, a global referendum. A vote by every human on Earth, Cassera explained. A simple question. Does humanity wish to pursue membership in the Galactic Alliance? If the majority votes yes, the Alliance will ignore the threats from the Independence Coalition and continue the contact process. And if the majority votes no, we leave and Earth returns to isolation. The implications were staggering. Every adult human on the planet would be asked to vote on the most important question in human history. How can we make sure people understand what they are voting for? Somin asked. That is where your journey becomes important, Mordan said. You have seen what galactic civilization offers. You understand both the benefits and the responsibilities. Your task is to share that knowledge with your people. Over the next 3 weeks, Daeho and his team traveled the world. They spoke at the United Nations. They addressed the Global Cooperation Council. They appeared on television programs and internet broadcasts, sharing videos and images from their journey to the stars. They showed floating cities where poverty had been eliminated, medical centers where any disease could be cured, schools where children from dozens of species learned together, research stations where the greatest minds in the galaxy worked to solve the universe's mysteries, but they also explained the responsibilities. Alliance members could not make war on each other. They had to protect their environments. They had to share resources with worlds in need. They had to prove that their species could contribute positively to galactic civilization. Joining the Alliance does not mean losing our humanity, Daeho told a gathering of world leaders. It means becoming the best version of humanity we can be. The Independence Alliance fought back with their own campaign. They showed images of human workers losing jobs to alien technology. They warned about alien diseases and alien influence over human governments. They painted pictures of Earth as a colony of alien powers. They want us to become like them, the Alliance leader said. They want to erase human culture and human independence. Public opinion swayed back and forth as the debate raged. Polls showed the vote too close to call. With 1 week before the referendum, something unexpected happened. Veltar requested permission to address the world directly. I want to speak to the humans about choice, the alien explained, about what it means to choose cooperation over isolation. The broadcast reached every nation on Earth. Veltar stood before the cameras, its light patterns translating into every human language simultaneously. My name is Veltar. 6 months ago, I was dying in your floodwaters. A human named Daeho saved my life and the life of my child. He did not know I was intelligent. He did not know my people would reward him. He saved me because it was right. The patterns on Veltar's body showed images as it spoke. The rescue, the first communications, the journey to find the other survivors. Humans fear that joining the galaxy will make them less human. But I have watched your species for these months. What makes you human is not your isolation. It is your capacity for growth, for kindness, for choosing to help others even when it is difficult. The galaxy does not want to change what makes you human. The galaxy wants to learn from it. The alien's message was simple but powerful. The choice was not between human independence and alien control. It was between fear and hope, between staying small and growing larger, between facing The universe's challenges alone or with friends. On the day of the referendum, 6.8 billion humans cast their votes. The waiting seemed to last forever. When the results were announced, the margin was closer than anyone had predicted. 3.9 billion votes for joining the alliance. 2.9 billion votes against. Humanity had chosen the stars by the smallest of margins. The Independence Alliance refused to accept the results. Their ships moved toward the Feliner vessels, weapons charging for attack, but something remarkable happened. Ships from the 68 treaty nations moved to protect the alien vessels. Human pilots put themselves between the attackers and the aliens they had voted to welcome. "This is Captain Kim Min-soo of the Seoul Defense Force," came a voiceover. The radio. "The people of Earth have spoken. Anyone who attacks our guests will have to go through us first." Similar messages came from dozens of other ships. Human defenders from around the world, united in their commitment to honor their species' choice. Faced with the prospect of fighting other humans rather than aliens, the Independence Alliance ships powered down their weapons and withdrew. Elder Mordan's message to Earth was broadcast around the world that evening. The Alliance Council formally welcomes humanity as provisional members of the Galactic Alliance. Your probationary period will last 5 Earth years, during which you will demonstrate your commitment to the principles of peace, cooperation, and environmental stewardship. But today you have already passed the most important test. When faced with a choice between fear and hope, between isolation and cooperation, enough of your people chose hope. Welcome to the galaxy, humans. We look forward to learning from you as much as you learn from us. 1 year later, Daeho stood in the memorial park built on the site where he had first rescued Veltar. Children from a dozen different worlds played together in the gardens. Human and Feliner families shared picnics under Earth's blue sky. The Independence Alliance still existed, but it was shrinking as the benefits of galactic membership became clear. Diseases were disappearing. The environment was healing. Humanity was reaching for the stars not as conquerors but as partners. Veltar approached, now carrying its second child, a baby born on Earth, the first Feliner to be a native of 2 worlds. "Do you ever regret it?" Daeho asked. "That storm that brought you here?" Veltar's light patterns showed amusement and joy. "Storm brought pain, but storm also brought friendship. Storm showed that Starwalkers and Feliner can be family." The alien's child reached out with tiny hands toward Daeho, its young patterns already showing trust and affection. "Sometimes," Veltar continued, "the best things come from the worst moments. Rescue from flood leads to rescue from loneliness. 1 small act of kindness changes everything." As the sun set over the memorial park, Daeho reflected on how one moment of compassion during a flood had opened the door to the stars. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but the most important discovery was the simplest one: kindness. Truly was universal. And when you choose to help others, you never know how far that choice might reach.